Hello folks, thank you for joining me. Fuzzfinger here. Let's continue on with our walkthrough, and today we're off to Oerba 200 AF.
A land that bears the scars of ancient war, where flakes of crystal gather and shift like sand in the desert. The Academy has restricted access to this place because it is the homeland of the two heroines who turned to crystal and held cocoons safe in the sky. It is a land that now, 200 years later, has been swallowed into a rift between time and space.
What's happening? The world is falling apart.
Is this a future where everything has been destroyed? Or is it a distant past before the world has even come into being?
Space-time has doubled and twisted on itself. The past and future are tangled together as one, Kupo.
The paradox is affecting space-time itself.
Right. And we have to find out what's causing this. Okay.
Whoever it was that created the paradox...
So let's get going. As soon as you've got control of your party, turn around and grab the hidden fragment. There's 5 fragments to collect here, and we will actually be able to collect all 5 on our first visit. So here's the first one. You'll just have to use the Moogle hunt to get it. And then head up over to the waypoint marker and use your Moogle hunt again. And it's puzzle time.
Go, Mog! It's like a maze. A crossroads within the paradox itself.
In this space-time, the past and future intersect. I bet if we solve all these puzzles, we could dissolve the current paradox.
Now you're thinking, Kupo.
So these puzzles are basically connect the dots. You have to connect all the crystals to create the shape of the monster or whatever it is. And you can only connect the crystals of the same colour. It does show you briefly, as you can see there, how you can connect them. And the colours do change every now and then, but while you're holding one colour, taking it to another, they won't change. So this one's fairly easy, as you'd expect for the first one. So green goes to green, and it's done. And then just go up and speak to the gate to leave this area. And that's another fragment. Now we just need to head up this road a little bit until we see a gap in the wall by this treasure chest over here. So jump through the wall where the gap is and just head over a bit to the right where there's another pathway. Just up here. Some of the enemies here can be quite tough, but so long as you've been following this walkthrough, then there should be no problem, because you'll have your Albino Lord Ravager and your Sentinel as a backup as well. There's some good CP farming opportunities here as well, since a lot of the groups give about 200 to 300 CP. And before we leave this zone, we'll want to spend some points in the Crystarium to level it up again. So make sure we collect about, I think it's just under 8,000 we'll need by the end of this area. Chocolina's here if you want to stock up on potions. There's no new weapons at the moment. But there's some monster materials for level 1 if you want to level up some lower level monsters. I don't at the moment, since I'm happy with just my Sentinel, who's already maxed, and my Ravager. So once you finish with Chocolina, just head up these stairs here into this building, and if you just go down on this bottom floor, you can collect the map for this area in this treasure chest. And then there's another optional chest upstairs. And that's a gate seal, so it lets you close one of the areas that we've already been to. I can't remember which one off the top of my head. I think it might be Yasish Mashi, however you say that place, that we've already been to. So, as I said before, when you use it to close it, you can progress through that story part again for whatever reason. Use your Moogle Hunt here, and we're going to have to do another puzzle now, unfortunately. This time there's 2 that we have to solve. It's the same type as before though.
Another head scratcher.
These puzzles aren't random, so if you are struggling, just watch this video carefully and you can just copy the moves that I make. Oh, I just missed that, it just changed before I got there. So wait for it to change back. There we go. You are time limited for these puzzles, but it's pretty generous, at least for these first few. Later on in the game it does get very tight with the time. Again, just speak to the gate, but we'll have another one to do now before we can exit. So they're starting to look like they're getting a little bit more complicated, but it's still the same sort of idea. Just look for the starting point when it shows you the points at the start, and be ready for the colours to change and just start moving. If it confuses you at first, because it probably will, you will sort of get the hang of it. So don't worry. And now we can leave this area, and as a reward we'll get another fragment. So that's 3 fragments out of our 5.
No problem.
Hey, we did it!
So as you've noticed, every time we complete a set of these puzzles, we unlock more of this map. More of the area. There's one more set of puzzles we need to do. I'm just running behind this pylon just to explore that little bit of area. Since this is also one of the zones that I mentioned earlier, we'll need to fully explore to collect a fragment later on in the game. Don't worry too much now though, we're going to end up having to backtrack through a lot of these zones to explore them anyway, so we'll just grab this chest down here. And this is the way we're going, so just continue on. And then at the bottom of these stairs, use your Moogle hunt again, and that will be the last of the puzzles that we have to solve, unlocking the full area.
I bet you two can crack it Kupo Kupo.
For this one, there is 3 puzzles in total, and they do get a little trickier. If you do run out of time, you don't miss out or lose out on anything, you can just start the puzzle from the beginning. And you only have to restart the stage you're on. So if you're on the 3rd puzzle here, you only have to restart the 3rd puzzle. This one's nice and simple though. Just start in the middle and work your way around. So as you can see, this final puzzle has tiles missing out of the floor. It's no big deal, you just have to move around the empty spaces. And remember, you can't jump, so you do have to run around. It's basically just to use more time up. But there's still plenty of time for this one.
You solved the paradox, Kupo.
And there's another fragment. So now we're going to head back the way we came. And there's another wild artifact we can collect in this area, and it's actually very hard to spot, so watch carefully what I do. You need to go to the end of this balcony thing, and you can see it just over there in the corner. You have to throw Mog over to collect it. You don't want to miss these wild artifacts, because if you want to open every area in the game, we do need every single one of them. There's only a limited number, and each one, when we open a gate with this, is used forever then. And there's just enough in the game to cover the amount of gates that are needed. So now we're going to head to the waypoint marker. And we need to head towards the beach to get there. So head up to the stairs that lead down that we didn't use earlier. And that'll take you down to the beach, and then you can just head west up to the old schoolhouse where the waypoint marker is, where we can advance the story. There is a chest up these stairs we can grab on the way to the building that we're heading to. Oh, this enemy I've just encountered is actually an extremely rare spawn. We don't need to farm for it, so don't worry if you don't see it. If you do engage in battle though, you won't do any damage to it while it's got its shell up. You'll need to stagger it where its shell is then dropped, and then you can finish it off quickly. It's a good commando if you do recruit it. It's quite powerful, but it's not urgent, to be honest. And it is very rare, so you probably won't even see one. I was just extremely lucky. When we have there's an item we can collect later which makes rare monsters spawn frequently. And there is a quest to collect the data off all monsters in the game called the Monster Collector, which is a pain in the backside. But we can come back to places like this when we have that item, so the spawn's a lot more common then. Continue to head on down to the beach, grabbing any chests that you see on the way. A lot of this map we can't fully explore just yet until a later time period, so don't worry that you can't get in the water and explore the dark blue bit of the map. We can do that later.
Oerba, this was their home. But now they're frozen in Cocoon's crystal pillar, never to return. They slept for centuries.
So this is the deserted schoolhouse area. Just head up the steps.
Though they came from Grand Pulse, they became Cocoon's saviors.
So you're saying they traveled through time to save the future?
Yeah, I guess they did in a way.
And when we get to the top, just run to the waypoint and initiate a cutscene. Be prepared because we're going to be entering battle as well.
Looks like an oracle drive.
Yeah.
So make sure you have your Relentless Assault and Delta Attack paradigms available.
Sarah!
Lightning. Lightning. Sarah, I'm sorry.
Hey, the apologies can wait. We got a wedding to plan, right? Right? Like, come on. What do you say? Lightning, I swear to you, I will make her happy.
I believe you.
My memories. They're real, aren't they? Who can they be? The prophecy. It's been changed.
But that's impossible.
If you change the future, you change the past.
It keeps changing?
Change is the constant.
Caius.
I have seen you. I have seen you both.
Yule.
What? You mean Osiris?
I am not the Yule you know.
But...
You must understand, there are many Yules.
Caius.
Wait. I saw you. My sister was fighting you.
What are you doing here in this time?
I learned of your journey, leaping back and forth along the timeline. Yule has been watching everything you do.
No. She's been watching us?
Yes. I see you understand the significance of that. Then you must also understand that I am here for a reason. Your actions have necessitated the strictest sanctions.
Hey, hold on a second. What do you mean, sanctions?
I must protect the sanctity of the timeline.
Caius!
If you want to play this battle safe, just start off in Delta attack, keep your sentinel out, and just slowly burn him down. Now it will just take a while if you keep your sentinel out, but that is the safer way to avoid these quite damaging attacks. If you don't want to play it safe and you want to speed things up a bit, you can do what I do and switch between Delta attack and Relentless Assault. Now Caius does like to pick a party member and then focus on them for quite a while. So as you can see, Noel took a lot of damage then for me. It's a lot of single target damage that Caius does, so that's why Delta attack can be useful to get your sentinel, to get Caius to focus on the sentinel. If he does that, then you won't take hardly any damage. But I like to try and get him down a bit quicker, which is why I do switch to Relentless Assault. Just make sure you keep your health up, use potions, switch to a paradigm with a medic. And you can kill him in the first stagger as I do. I do nearly end up being defeated, but that's only because I risk it by staying in Relentless Assault to try and finish him off before his stagger ends. If you don't want to risk dying, then like I say, just use Delta attack, even if it takes a couple of staggers.
You shall pay for your crimes in blood.
Sarah! Stop this, Caius. I am not going to fight you.
Times have changed. I'm not the Caius you once knew. To change history is a sin.
It's too late. The timeline has already changed.
But must we accept this, Yule?
If you change the future, you change the past. You can remold history as your heart desires.
Let's go now, before you are made to witness more. Come.
Yule. does Caius want?
No. Do you think we've fixed the Oracle drive that Hope found?
What happens to the prophecy recorded here should affect the one in the past. At least I hope so.
I believe it will. I think all those drive things are connected across time and space.
Jump down in through this skylight window here, and there's a treasure chest to collect. There's one more optional fragment we can collect in this area before we move on with the story. To do so, we're going to need to hop on a chocobo, which are now available since Caius has been defeated. And there is a chocobo just outside here. I do need to stock up on some greens actually. 3 isn't going to last me very long. So bring your chocobo over to this part of the map, and then you want to jump across the roof and onto the other side. Remember to hold the jump button down so that you glide on your chocobo. And then you'll need to dismount and use the Moogle hunt to reveal the hidden fragment that's on this roof. And that's all the fragments for this zone. Just check which side you jump off the roof on so that you can grab this treasure chest here. And now we can actually head to the next gate in order to proceed to the next area. However, we do want to advance our Crystarium. So make sure that you've got about 8,000, I think it's 7,890 Crystarium points. You may need to farm a bit. Unfortunately, you get bugger all CP for killing Caius. But with the 5 fragments we've collected and the bonus CP rewards for collecting them, and some of the enemy groups that you find here, you should be well on your way. I think I have to do about 10 minutes of grinding here, which I'll edit out, just to get to that amount of CP. Here's the gate as well. So we need 7,800 CP. I'm almost there. Just grind for that little bit extra. Okay, now when you've got your CP, you can start advancing again. Okay, so for Sarah, I'm going to put 4 more points into her commando role, boosting it up to level 30. I'm going to put 3 more points into her Ravager role, boosting that to level 32. And I'm going to put 11 points in her Saboteur role, boosting that up to level 29. And finally, I'm just going to pop 2 points into her Medic role, boosting that to level 10. And for her roll bonus, I'm going to select the Saboteur bonus boost number 2. And with that done, we can move on to Noel. So for Noel, I'm going to put 9 points in his commando role, popping that up to 41. I'm also going to put his Ravager roll up to 41 as well, by putting 11 points into there. And that's all we'll be doing for Noel, actually. That will be enough to expand his Crystarium. And we're going to give him the Ravager bonus boost.
She was the same.
And that's it for the Crystarium for the time being.
Same voice. But even so, she didn't.
We're going to need 8,340 points, Crystarium points, to advance to the next level.
Well, no questions?
Huh? What's that? I'm sorry, I wasn't listening.
Well, that explains why you don't have anything to ask me.
Lightning, Noel and I traveled to Oerba. You wouldn't believe how much happened to us there. We found a prophecy that the seers of the Farseers had recorded. We saw a young girl called Yule, just like the seeress. And we met a man named Caius, the man you were fighting in my dream. I guess what worries me the most, though, is that Noel looks sad. Sadder than I've ever seen him. And there's something else, too. The strange thing that both Caius and Yule said about the past. If you change the future, you change the past. I'm afraid of what that might mean for us. When Noel and I solved the paradox, we changed the future. Does that mean the past of Hope and the others has also changed?
Okay, so we're done with Oerba. Back in the Historia Crux, you'll want to select the new destination, Yasash Mashif 01XAF. And we'll be doing that in the next video. This has been FuzzFinger. Thank you for joining me. I'll see you next time.